Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryne, your host, and I welcome you to my review of Head of State from 2003. This is the political comedy written, directed, and starring Chris Rock. Now we are heading back to DreamWorks, as you can see right here, right there, DreamWorks. So now we're returning back to DreamWorks with this installment for today's review, or tonight's review, whatever time you're watching this review. So, yeah, let's talk about Head of State. So, I'm going to read a little bit of the plot on the back of DVD, and then I'll kind of give you what I thought of the film. So, I'm going to read the plot on the back. If you want a real political party, there's only one man who's wild and funny enough to take it all the way to the White House. He's Chris Rock, and he's ready to roll. So basically, the movie centers around a man named Mitch Gilliam, that's Rock's character, who's basically your average ordinary person. So basically, he's just a normal run-of-the-mill guy until all of a sudden he has an argument with his girlfriend, played by Robin Givens. So let's read down the cast in this. So as I said, this has Chris Rock. This also has Bernie Mac, Dylan Baker, Nick Scarzy, Robin Givens, as I said before, Lynn Whitfield, Tamir Jones, and James Rebhorn rounding out the cast in this. You also get Nate Dogg as the musical narrator. I love me some Nate Dogg. Really talented guy. But yeah. Basically, as I said before, it focused on May Gilliam, that's Chris Rock, and he decides he's going to run for president. So Dylan Baker's his campaign manager and says, "You're going to run for president." I was like, "The president of the United States of America?" And then they say, "The South Pole?" "No, the North Pole." "No, South America." "No, North America." I got poles wrong. So basically, it's a comedy that Chris Rock directed. So basically, he's running and he has to go against this guy. James Rebhorn plays another senator who basically suggests him to run. So, like I said, and then he decides, yeah, I'm going to run for president. This was during the era, this was basically pre-Obama. This is before Barack Obama would officially become the first African-American president in the United States. Although this has been done before with Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact, also another DreamWorks movie, and another one I own. But that was more serious. This one's more played for comedy. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm reviewing a political comedy. Well, I reviewed the Robin Williams movie Man of the Year, and I did not like that movie because I didn't think Robin Williams was funny. And he can be good in sort of dramedies, but that one didn't work. This movie surprisingly does work. I feel Chris Rock can do comedy right, and there are some really funny moments, like the time, like, he'll be running, he comes up with a new style, and then they play Nelly's Hot and Her at the White House, and he's like emceeing the whole thing, and then I think Lynn Whitfield's character, she doesn't like that and tells him, "I'm running the thing now. You're not supposed to do that." And then Dylan Baker's like, "That was amazing." His character is amazing. Now, I did cover a movie Dylan Baker before. He has a small role in another DreamWorks movie, Road to Perdition, which I did cover on the channel. So he's, like I said, he's like the campaign guy. And though this movie, I love the beginning, how it shows all the political guys. Hillary Clinton, Al Gore, Joe Lieberman. I love how they say that, but it says not in this movie. So that made me chuckle really hard. This is a movie I've seen part of. I think I was in college. A friend had this on DVD. So we watched part of it in college, and it was fine. but I didn't watch the movie in whole, and since I'm covering DreamWorks movies, I thought we'd go ahead and do another Chris Rock movie. And this movie, like I said, is it's fun. The movie is fun as well. And this movie is also written by Al Leroy. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's Al Leroy. Let's hope I got that right. But yeah, I feel Chris Rock is like falling into the comedians that do direct movies. Like in the featurette I watched, they talk about the comedians that direct. So they talk about Richard Pryor directing his first movie, Eddie Murphy and Keenen Ivory Wayans. They talked about those comedians going into the directing chair to direct movies. And though this movie, it's fun. I'm gonna say it right now. It's fun. I'm trying to think of anything else. I like how the fact that Chris Rock. There's a funny scene where May is like he has a fallout with his girlfriend. Well, either his ex-wife or girlfriend, they don't say. But basically, he's like, and then all of a sudden he's saying, I'm May Gilliam, and I'm running for president. Like, ah! She's like that, screaming really loud. Now she wants to butter up to him, but she butters up to him, and then Rock does this. He's like, security! And it happens so many times, though, and it's absolutely hilarious. In the featurette, they also said, sorry if I did that really loud, but he says it about 3 times. It's funny. Like, he fires the one woman before he decides to kick Dylan Baker's character out of the car. No, the bus. And then all of a sudden, she calls him something ignorant. And then he's like, are you going to apologize to me? And then she's like, apologize to you? I don't have to apologize to you. And says, security! And then the Secret Service guy comes in and just takes them all away. That made me chuckle. And then when he dreams about becoming president, his character he dreams and all of a sudden he gets shot because of the whole assassination attempt. So that's pretty funny. It's like waving high like that. It's like, I laughed so hard at that. Another reason is Rock said this on an HBO First Look featurette, and as he mentioned in this featurette, it's called The Road to White House, The Making of Head of State. I did watch a couple deleted scenes. There were only about 6 of them. I don't normally talk about special features. There's also sneak peeks and stuff like that. But in the featurette, he mentions about the inspiration to this movie came from the 1984 presidential election. For those that are way younger, in 1984, Ronald Reagan was up for re-election going against Jimmy Carter's Veep, Walter Mondale. So it came up with that idea of Mondale hiring a female. Yes, Mondale was the first. I'm trying not to go political, but I have to because it's part of what I'm talking about this movie. So basically, he wants to, not to, but Mondale hired a woman in U.S. history before Biden would do that with Kamala Harris. Ferrara was the first female vice presidential nomination. So they did that. Then it was similar to Clinton against Bush. Basically, at the end of that 84 election, Reagan would win a second term. So then we go to when Bush was going against Clinton. So it was the same thing like that. So it goes basically all the way around. The whole movie does go political. I know I'm sorry I had to bring up politics in a comedy about politics, basically. They do mention Bernie Mac is really good in this. He plays the brother who becomes the Veep. Not going to spoil the ending this time. You'll have to watch it for yourself. But it has a good message at the end of the movie. That's what kind of saved this from saying, I really like Head of State. So they even talked about, I believe, they talked about the ongoing war. Like I said, this is around the time that this was a movie that was around the time during W's time as president. So it has that, and who would ever thought that making a comedy about, basically about some ordinary guy running for president? And keep in mind, this was before Obama became governor. In fact, the movie came out around the time Obama was running for governor in 2003. And at the end of the day, Obama did become governor in 2004. I hope I mentioned everything about it. I'm sorry, guys, I have to bring up politics, but in a movie that's a political satire, I will say this for the most part. I'm going to end right there for the videos that long. I might have missed a few things as I normally did. But in terms of that, I think Head of State does a better job. It's much better than Man of the Year. I didn't laugh as much. Man of the Year, I didn't laugh at all. I was disappointed with that. I was hoping that movie, Robin Williams should have been funny in that movie. This movie works at, I think, Chris Rock's stand-up. He has that stand-up. And I love the fact that he drives the bus and drives all these people around to get to where it is. That's near the end of the movie, but I'm going to leave it at that. I did like how they were trying to challenge the other guy in debate, and then all of a sudden he's trying to debate. He doesn't want to debate, but he keeps egging him on by chasing him. He's jogging. Then he's turning TV, can't flip to another channel, and he says, fine, I'm going to debate. And it's absolutely hilarious. So yeah, this movie it's fun. Is this a perfect movie? Not really. But I think Chris Rock, I personally think he's fun as a comical actor. But as I said many times, his directing can be iffy at times. I think, to me, Chris Rock said in the featurette that the reason he directed this movie was he didn't want any other director ruining his script. Keep in mind, he wrote this movie, and I believe he produced it. Yes, he wrote, produced, and directed the movie. So I think the cast is good. Dylan Baker as an actor is severely underrated. He's been in a ton of stuff. Like I said, Road to Perdition. During the same time that this movie came out, he would go on to portray Ed Smart in the Lifetime TV movie based on Elizabeth Smart. So he would play her father in that. But again, off topic, guys. Check the movie out. Cast is just really good. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this is not going to be on the best list. If this was a lot funnier, like I said, it had funny moments, like the White House dance is absolutely hysterical. And the fact that Chris Rock says, security, every single time gets funny. And the fact that he kicks Dylan Baker's character off the bus and then he just closes the bus and just drives off. And then he has to hitch a ride to get there. But at the end of the day, this movie is just a hoot. Bernie Mac is really good. Yeah, a hoot. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. So I don't know why I made that face, but I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's go ahead and rate it right now. I'm going to give Head of State a 3 out of 5. If this was a lot more funnier, this would have been bumped up. It would have been bumped up a point. But in the end of the day, it's a fun movie. It's above average, guys. Well, we'll just put it that. It's above average. If you like Chris Rock, check it out. If you like Bernie Mac, very funny. But I think, honestly, this movie just came out when Mac was in a movie called Bad Santa, which came out in 2003. He was way funnier than that. But for a movie like this, I think he does a really good job in the supporting role. In fact, half the cast does a really good job in this movie, though. I normally don't really watch a lot of political movies or political satires. This is more of a political satire thing. Oh, I like how the blurb on there says, Chris Rock rules, hail to the chief of comedy, Fox News Channel. Yeah, Fox News actually liked this movie. And the Washington Post said it was hilarious. But like I said, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Check out Head of State. It's really good. Oh, I wanted to mention, Robin Givens was in the sitcom Head of the Class. Another thing that had head of. So I kind of wanted to bring that up so I didn't forget. But check the movie out. definitely pretty good. So, yeah. And that's my review, Head of State. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content in the channel, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to get all my video notifications so you don't miss a single video on the channel. Universal, DreamWorks, whatever, so you don't miss any single video like that. I'm also on Letterboxd, guys, so you guys can go over and check that out. I got a ton of really cool stuff on that channel. So, yeah. So check out Head of State. Really good stuff. Fun movie, above average film. So, yeah. And that's it. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.